A national effort to determine how lessons from Erica could help change Dominica's disaster preparedness and recovery policies. Dominica's journey toward geothermal energy about to go to the next phase, and the only weather technician from the Caribbean to attend COP21 summit vows to do her part to educate Dominicans on climate change. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up. First up, a national assessment of Tropical Storm Erica's impact on health is expected to influence policy on future response to storm-related disasters. The after-action review of the events related to the impact of Storm Erica on the island began on Monday. The Ministry of Health and Environment is hosting the two-day activity in collaboration with the Caribbean Public Health Agency.
This process should not, I repeat, should not be considered a critique or a chance to blame individuals or groups where things did not work optimally, but should be considered a dynamic, candid, and professional discussion of the events and an opportunity for everyone to learn and improve performance for the future. It is an opportunity for multidisciplinary collaboration amongst regional partner agencies and sectors.
Dr. St. John says the outcome should guide CARICOM member states in preparing for and recovering from such disasters.
I want ways to keep the health system functioning. I want ways to address the mental health issues that plague the survivors when loved ones and colleagues are lost. I want to decide on the forum for effective joint work of the international agencies.
The Chief Medical Officer believes the country needs to improve its understanding of how climate change data can be used in health planning.
Our capacity to respond appropriately to the threats and impact of climate change will depend heavily on the development of a framework through which climate variability and climate change can be included in a larger risk management strategy and developmental strategic plan on climate change. Tropical Storm Erica therefore left us no choice but to develop appropriate policies, strategies, and programs that will enable us to predict and mitigate the sometimes unpredictable consequences on human health.
Meantime, $2 million from the Pan American Health Organization has put the country in a better position to address the impact of Tropical Storm Erica on the health sector. In addition to providing technical support for the country following the August disaster, the Pan American Health Organization helped solicit financial resources. PAHO representative for the Eastern Caribbean told Wednesday's health meeting that PAHO worked with several international agencies to seek help for Dominica.
We coordinated and worked with CARFA on surveillance and lab capacity requirement. We coordinated and worked with donors to mobilize funds, and to date, I'm pleased to say that between PAHO funds and donor support, we have over $750,000, 2 million EC, for the Ministry of Health's immediate response and recovery. We coordinated and worked with all the other UN agencies to ensure that supplies and support was given in an appropriate manner. We coordinated and worked with the Ministries of Health in the Caribbean and the Americas to ensure that the needs of the Ministry of Health were fully met and at the appropriate time.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Roye, says all the funds have not been used. She says a double cab van is among purchases made for her department. We move now to the Minister for Trade, Energy and Employment, who is reassuring Dominicans that Erica did not damage the geothermal plant and government is moving to the second phase of that project.
Douglas says since most of the drilling was done underground, everything was kept intact during the 6-hour-long storm on August 27.
The wellheads are intact. We continue to do our basic maintenance of the plant to make sure that there's no rusting, there's no deterioration. We're in a different phase right now. We concluded the discovery stage where we had to drill to actually find out the nature and the extent of the power. We have done that, and so we're moving now into the next stage, where we go into issues of generation. What type of plant do we need? What type of turbines we need to install? How much power can we actually extract and put onto the grid? The whole issue of the grid, the national grid, which is the Dominic high tension lines that you see running around Dominica. We have to upgrade those lines to be able to take the geothermal power.
Douglas explained that right now, Dominica is currently using diesel to generate most of its electricity. He says this will require an upgrade of the national grid.
We're looking at finalizing and concluding contracts and agreements with Domlec, because Domlec is what we call in geothermal terms the off-taker. They're the ones who will be buying the power. So at what price they buy the power. And you need to pay attention to those issues and those fundamentals, because at the end of the day, you do not want the power getting to the consumer at a higher cost than it is right now. So all of those issues have to be dealt with.
So far, government has invested $80 million into the exploration stage of geothermal energy in Dominica. He says it is time now to move to the generation of turbines. Douglas says Dominica has undertaken a geothermal project at a time when the world recognizes the importance of renewable sources of energy.
And we're very happy that we had taken the decision to make that investment. So we're really leaders in the Caribbean now, because now you have St. Kitts, St. Vincent, Nevis, all of those other islands thinking about geothermal energy. They can actually learn from us, St. Lucia. They can actually learn from our experience of how we drilled and how we found the power and how we intend to go to the next stage.
Douglas has reassured that the priority is restoration after the effects of Erica to communities and infrastructure affected, but work at the plant continues.
MP for St. Joseph Kelvadaru is urging students to be inspired by the achievements of Baroness Patricia Scotland.
Daru was addressing the renaming ceremony of the now Baroness Patricia Scotland Primary School in Vieques on Monday. He told the students it is important that they understand why Baroness Scotland was honored in that way.
Baroness Scotland has pursued a dynamic career in law, public service and politics, and has worked closely with Caribbean countries in those capacities. As a woman in a public career, she has been assertive and has demonstrated an ability to implement meaningful change with tangible results.
Baroness Patricia Scotland was the UK's first ever female Attorney General and Chief Legal Advisor. As part of the British Labour Party government, she was Minister of State, Home Office Criminal Reduction, Minister of State, Home Office Criminal Justice and Offender Management, and Parliamentary Secretary, Lord Chancellor's Department.
It is because we have seen that Baroness Patricia Scotland, with all of her accomplishments, can serve as the greatest inspiration for you. We want you to aspire to such greatness. We want you to believe that you too, a young Dominican from Vieques, from St. Joseph, or any other community, can one day rise to the head of an important international organization that positions you to make positive, meaningful contributions to the world.
Daru says Baroness Scotland's example is another reminder that with the right attitude, students can be successful with the ability to contribute significantly to the country's development.
As an education system, these are examples of service we want you to emulate as we prepare you to be responsible citizens. As government, we believe that honoring our citizens who have excelled for their accomplishments and hard work is a wonderful way to say thank you and to inspire others in the community.
Baroness Scotland was born in the St. Joseph community. She will assume the office of Commonwealth Secretary General in April 2016.
And next, a weather broadcaster expects to use knowledge gained at the recently held climate change conference in Paris to sensitize the public on climate change. Farah Rock Carrere of the Dominica Meteorological Service was among weather broadcasters invited by the World Meteorological Organization to attend the COP21 climate conference or climate change conference in Paris earlier this month. She says she was the only weather technician from the Caribbean.
I got a chance to interview the Secretary General of WMO. It was a wonderful experience, among other people, scientists and other delegates from across the globe. So it was more of had more of a journalistic spin to it. We as meteorological technicians, the information that we gather, that data is inputted into, well, I would say a global system. People will utilize Dominica data, St. Lucia data, the entire globe, the temperatures, the dew points, the rainfall, etc. All that information will be used. And secondly, well, we do broadcast our information, so they find or they assume that we could use our experience to even do videos ourselves of climate change and so forth. I've already brainstormed as some of the projects that I plan to do with our little studio and the service to further educate people about climate change.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, the NCCU distributes thousands and the Girl Guides celebrate their 50th anniversary. Thank you for staying with us. 9 organizations and 1 family have benefited from a $12,000 donation by a corporate citizen.
The National Cooperative Credit Union, NCCU, held its annual Christmas donation ceremony on Wednesday. These donations keep in line with the credit union's philosophy of people helping people.
This situation here is a big deal for us. We pride ourselves on sharing with the community. And what comes to my mind is Tropical Storm Erika. And if you recall, I'm sure the press would know that we assisted members and non-members. We've given over $100,000 in scholarships to our members' children, and we're very happy to do that. Our donation budget is over $70,000 every year, and if needs be, we go beyond that. So part of why we exist as NCCU is giving back to community.
The Wayne Phillips Sports Academy, Rotary Club, Crime Stoppers, Dominica Infirmary, Chances, Acute Psychiatric Unit, Wesley High School, Mon Prospect Catholic Church, Nemesis Football Club, and David and Vida Daru, whose house was affected by the Newtown fire of 9th October this year, were recipients of the donations.
The donation we received from NCCU this morning, Crime Stoppers Dominica is very appreciative of that donation. We intend to use some of the funds towards our marketing program in 2016.
We've got a full set of uniforms. We're thankful for that. We're hoping that we can develop a partnership with the NCCU that will help us in other aspects of the game itself. And even in terms of representing the sponsor, we're looking forward to doing that both on and off the field in how we carry ourselves as a club.
For several years they've been on board and they've always supported us, so we want to say thank you and to let them know that their contribution is going to go a long way. We have plans at the APU to use the funds that we receive from the NCCU towards our annual Christmas concert that will be held on the 10th of January. That concert allows us to sensitize the public as to what it's like to be living as a mentally ill patient.
The NCCU regularly donates a portion of its net surplus to the community by supporting worthwhile causes. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And police are interested in information about a series of road blockades along the northeast route on Tuesday. The incident happened in the early hours of the morning along Marigot and Woodford Hill area. The road was eventually cleared later that morning.
About 3 a.m. on Tuesday, 15th December 2015, the police serving at the Marigot police station were alerted to a number of roadblocks. The police discovered that 5 sections of the roadway were blocked with trees between the villages of Wesley and Woodford Hill. Another obstruction was discovered on the North End Road in Marigot, where a 20-foot container was placed across that part of the roadway. All obstructions were cleared with the assistance of the public, and investigations into the road blockages are ongoing.
And 2017 has been cited as the new end date for renovation works on the Lady of Fatima Fairhaven Cathedral.
That's if all goes well, according to Bishop of Roseau, Gabriel Malzer. The church has been on a mission to refurbish the building for the past few years. Renovation work started in 2011.
At the moment, we have just finished the frame for the roof covering, and that is completed, and the next phase, which we're just about to enter into, is the actual covering of the cathedral. So we have placed on order the material that is going to be used for for the covering of the material, of the roof, sorry. We hope that in the earlier part of the new year, the material will be here, and it will take about 3 months to cover. The next part is the flooring, and then followed by, I suppose, well, the ceiling. We have the choir loft, we have the windows, the bell tower, and so forth, and of course the furniture inside. So it's quite a way off.
The renovation project now costs $12 million, and thus far half that cost has been met. Fundraising activities for this project started in 2004.
The greatest challenge we have is fundraising, and it has not been as rapid as we would like it to, but I'm hoping that in the new year there will be new ideas and new insights and new persons coming forward to inject some serious funds into the effort towards the completion of the cathedral. We have planned immediately on Friday the 18th of December a big dinner in the yard of the Bishop's house, and I'm taking the opportunity to welcome everybody to patronize that dinner. If we do not stop on the project in the next year and a half, 2 years, we should be able to bless or rededicate the cathedral.
The 159-year-old Lady of Fairhaven Cathedral has been described as a place of historic, cultural and religious significance. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And one association for the development of young girls in society is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
Founding member of the group says several prominent Dominicans have gone through the organization's ranks. The first Maho Girl Guides troupe was officially formed in 1965.
Back then, I spent all my school vacation in St. Joseph, and St. Joseph had a very, very, very thriving, effective group. And I was once invited to their meeting, and I went, and next holiday I went and I say, we need something like that in Maho. And this Maho First Guide group has developed lots of intelligent ladies. You'll find them in all strata of society, legal, in government offices, doctors, nurses, teachers, and everywhere.
John Charles Stedman says the Girl Guides group is a means by which parents can become more involved in the lives of their daughters.
First, it helps your self-esteem. It helps you to respect yourself and respect people. And you learn to appreciate. I'd like to see the parents get involved. And that the parents see to it that their children, their young girls, go to the meetings. Let their children learn time management. You cannot always say she has her chores, she has her homework to do. Manage your time. It cannot be just the children on their own. It has to be a parent-child relationship going on where guiding is concerned.
Meantime, the Dominican National Council of Women is commending the first Maho Girl Guides troupe on its 50-year existence.
We have seen that this movement, the Girl Guides movement, have actually brought about a sense of leadership in a number of young girls. And as a national women's organization, they are also a member of the Dominican National Council of Women. And we are very happy that they have stayed together. They have actually helped to empower young girls, and they have actually added to national development. So we are saying congratulations to them, and we wish them well for the next 50 years.
The Girl Guides operate under the motto, be prepared.
That's news. Kenny Williams is next with your sports highlights.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. We begin with football. The Dominica Football Association and Dominica Referees Association have commented on the issue regarding the Collio players who walked off the field before their game against MV Maxano Bombers ended, where the scores were 4-0 in favor of Bombers.
I understood that the Collio team walked up about 5 minutes before end of play. I mean, that's a matter for the referee. When I mean referee, in the sense that the referee must submit a report. I can't stand here and say what the DFA would do at this time. I'm just here on the street. It was some time before, so the referees miss the most important person here. When he submits the report to the Dominica Football Association, then the Dominica Football Association would do some investigation and ask to guide, well, not guide, but ask to what is the next path or the next avenue in terms of what should be done.
Meantime, the DFA has also commented on matches between Fonkole United and Harlem United and All Saints Football Club versus Tarish United, which did not take place due to an alleged lack of match officials.
It was a lack of communication, actually. I mean, I think everything was in place for that game. The referees were scheduled for that game, but the referee was in an area where he's saying that, well, he could not get service in terms of telephone service, because we normally sometimes on a Sunday pick up the referee, you know, transportation-wise, and would get him to the game. So that was just a communication between actually the transportation personnel and the referee.
President of the Referees Association, Neron Williams, says the DRA is doing the job that is required of them.
There was a game in Portsmouth over the weekend where the referee had to call off the game because the Collier team walked off. The laws of the game says clearly that a match should not continue if there are fewer than 7 players. So by virtue of the team walking off the field, once there were fewer than 7 players, the referee had no choice but to call it off. This is a matter for the Football Association. They are the ones who set matches and who run football. They are the ones who the team have affiliation to. The referees only come there to perform a task, which is to ensure that the game is played within the laws. The referee appointed to the game would submit a report to the Football Association, which is by which the association would use to take any disciplinary action.
Meantime, Williams had this to say about the matches that did not take place over the weekend due to an alleged lack of referees.
The Football Association is responsible for appointing referees to matches. That will be done weekly, and then the referees would be informed of their appointments based on their availability. The Referees Association, we try to encourage referees, once they have accepted an appointment, to adhere to those appointments.
The last game of the year in the Division 1 League is expected to be played on Sunday. In cricket, West Indies batsman Chris Gayle said he was not fit enough to play the ongoing Test series against Australia, but hopes to make a return to Test cricket in 2016. He urges fans to give more time to the struggling West Indies Test team and allow the youngsters to develop their game. Gayle, who played the last of his 103 tests in July 2014, said he was trying to get back into the groove after undergoing back surgery in July. He recently made a return to competitive cricket in the Bangladesh Premier League and will now play for the Melbourne Renegades in the Big Bash League on December 23. And finally, Thea Lafont, wrapping up a short visit to Dominica, says things are shaping up nicely in preparation for Rio 2016. Lafont is a Dominican athlete based in Maryland who specializes in jumps.
I have always competed in either high jump or triple jump, but I'm actually well known in the States for actually competing in the pentathlon. And all my training has kind of come up to this year when we are ready to start entering the world of heptathlons, which is adding 2 more events than the pentathlon. And so we are breaking it down into smaller goals. So we're doing first Worlds in Oregon in March, and I will be attempting to compete in the pentathlon there. And then it will get us ready for the heptathlon for Rio. So we are going to try to make Rio 2016 in the heptathlon.
She says she is close to reaching her personal goals, and one of them is qualifying for Olympics in 2016.
I have my goals for high jump, which is 186, around 6'2". And I have my goals for long jump, which is around 21 feet, around 7 meters plus. And every goal has its own kind of event such as that. And I am proud to say that I am very near a lot of these goals. And as of looking at myself right now, I find that I'm in a very good place to, achieve that final main goal, which is Rio.
The proud 21-year-old Dominican is ecstatic about representing her country.
I have been representing Dominica since I was 16 years old. And the one word that has always filled my heart when it comes to this question is pride. I've always been asked, I have lived in the USA, I have dual citizenship, why am I competing for this little island in the Caribbean? And I always say, if you knew what kind of gem of an island I come from, there is no asking why I do this. I love my people, I love my country, and I love my sport.
That's all the time we have for sports. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
Flashback is coming up next.
Welcome to another Flashback segment where we take you way back into the history of news events in Dominica. On this segment, we visit the burial site of veterans who fought for the betterment of our people and our country. 20 years ago, the residents of Kings Hill brought to the attention of authorities their disappointment with the maintenance of the veterans' burial site in their area.
People here at Kings Hill seem unclear about just who is responsible for maintaining this military cemetery. They say that various groups, including the Rotary Club of Dominica and the Kiwanis, have lent a hand in the past. But recently, interest has waned, leaving this sad testimony to those who died fighting for others. Villagers believe something should be done to clean the area up, but they disagree on who should do it. As usual, the government is being called upon to play a part, but some believe the community and especially the youth should take the initiative.
Yes, it is a shame. It's a disgrace, especially to the Kings Hill constituency. It's a disgrace because I'll tell you something. If you clean up this cemetery and you know the people really, I mean, before you used to have young children going inside there and play football, I think they stop it right now. They say right now is the time for the government to take a step and clean it up. The Kings Hill community will come around, get a few people again and take charge of this area because I think this is a good site for the tourists.
I think it's very poor, you know. If tourists want to come and see this oldest grave, they'd have to pass through all this bush. Cows are tied in the cemetery, and they excrete all over the place, you know. Very nasty, not a place someone want to come and visit and see the historical site there, you know.
Well, I checked in is, I don't know who died there and buried there. But they should do that better than that.
They could put a gate, you know, at the front. Yes, sure. And give it if the wall need a little fixing, patching, and then paint it. Make it look nice and pleasant when people pass in. They could see, well, there is a military cemetery.
If they get somebody responsible for that place, you know, to take care of it, people will volunteer to do that. I so will be able to do it.
MTV News was directed to the Ministry of Community Development, which is responsible for the cenotaph and its upkeep, but an official there declined comment until a later date.
We are now at the site, and as you can see, the area is being maintained. As for how often, residents have informed that maintenance of the area is a rare practice. The Ministry of Community Development was approached on the schedule of maintenance and their role in reference to the burial site. But like 20 years ago, there was no sure response. Let's call this segment an open one, as we may have to revisit this site in the future when the information is more accurate from the authorities in charge. Thanks for joining us on another interesting segment of Flashback. I am Janik Delmar Samuel. See you next week.
Your weather report is next.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. The Atlantic high pressure system continued to be the dominant feature, producing a relatively dry and stable atmosphere across the area, resulting in generally fair skies today. Here in Dominica, only a few low-level clouds were reported across the island. Radar imagery today was void of any significant precipitation, and for tonight, the weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy with a few scattered showers and similar conditions expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions will be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. For the next 3 days, expect occasional cloudy skies with a few scattered showers and a slight increase in wind speeds expected on the weekend. For the remainder of the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers, mainly across the southern portion of the island chain. On the international cities forecast, some rain expected in New York, mostly cloudy skies in London, partly cloudy skies in Miami, and clear skies in Caracas and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:25 and set at 5:38 p.m. For additional information, feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or call our Weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again: a national effort to determine how lessons from Erica could help change Dominica's disaster preparedness and recovery policies. Dominica's journey toward geothermal energy about to go to the next phase. And the only weather technician from the Caribbean to attend the COP21 summit vows to do her part to educate Dominicans on climate change. Feel free to email us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.